Chess, nonsense, and analysis. Hi, dear viewer. We're still on our journey of improving in chess. So, as said before, we'll look at a classical game and we'll look at a later game where that idea can be used. So, we'll start first with this game that was played in 1950. It was played at the Dubrovnik Olympiad, and uh, Panagopoulos played against Steiner. Steiner was playing black and Steiner was the stronger player. Let's have a look at the game. So the game starts with d4, knight f6, c4, and we have this Budapest gambit on the board. Not seen so much these days because, yeah, I think there has been some remedies against it where white just gets a small advantage. It's not obviously refuted, but white does get a fairly comfortable position against it. So in this position, for an example, if white just plays the move a3 here, white should be just slightly better, takes away many of black's tricks and just continues developing with an advantage. Anyway, white played bishop f4 and black starts with bishop c5. And after e3, notice now that the diagonal is not adequately protected. Well, it still is protected, but there could be some attacks on this diagonal because the bishop is now on the other side. So Steiner plays bishop before check, and after knight d2, or maybe already it was already time to play king e2 here. But okay, plays knight d2, and now he gets hit by this move g5. So the point now is that in some variations, black may be able to move this knight away and, and capture on d2. But okay, of course, for now, it's not really a big deal because if black plays g4, white can also play a3. So that is why black plays h5. And now there's a very clear and present danger, should we say, because black is threatening to just, win the bishop, trap the bishop. So white plays h3, but now notice that black has actually had a very successful opening because now white's king side is completely wrecked and so many weaknesses, and black just went on and just completely played normally. Here, white's position is quite weak, and okay, first he wanted to play knight c5, so b4 was played, but you cannot stop black from just developing normally castles long, and white's position is just too weak. So in a few moves, white manages to then attack down the center. And it's all about attacking the white king, and nice move f5. And after knight d3, white had enough. There's just too much coming into the position. There's a queen f2 threatened, and also the pawn can move to b2. So it was a pretty convincing victory, should we say. But the main idea was, of course, this bishop to c5 followed by bishop before check. So then I played a game in 1998. I knew this game already. I had seen it in some publication, analyzed the 1950 game. And then I then played in 1998 in Egypt. I played this game. I played against an international master from Ukraine, Dabrauskas, and yeah, here's how the game went. I wanted to play the Dutch and played knight f6, and my opponent surprised me because here normal move is something like g3, knight f3, knight c3. These are normal moves in this position, but my opponent plays bishop g5. So my opponent is adding two ideas in one, because normally if you're going to play bishop g5, normally after d4 f5, immediately bishop g5 is normally played. So here, this is not a usual idea at all. So, okay, I played knight e4 and my opponent played bishop f4. And round about here, the knowledge of the classical game helps me to find a very interesting idea here. Can you spot the idea maybe? How can black continue now in this position? Stop the video and then you can start again. All right, let's continue. I hope you found it. Well, the idea is very similar to the other one because remember what we said. The diagonal becomes weak if the bishop is then locked, if the bishop is on the other side of the pawn chain, so to speak. So the first move must be e5. Very strong move, a very interesting move. If bishop captures pawn, of course, the bishop before check is very strong. So pawn takes pawn must be played. So the first thing now is to shut the bishop out of circulation, so to speak. Attack f2. Now, of course, if white plays knight h3, there are ideas of g5 and followed by g4. So my opponent plays e3, and now I play bishop b4 check. A nice move, basically forcing the king to move to e2. And right here I played. Of course, now, because of the knowledge of the game, ideas like g5 and so on are in the air. But I noticed that when the king moves to e2, the king blocks the way to the bishop. It blocks the bishop's defense of the pawn on c4. So I played queen h4. So I'm threatening to play pawn to g5, and if bishop g3 to take the bishop with the knight, then the queen takes c4. So he plays knight h3, g5, a3. I take on e3, queen e7, and I sacrifice a piece in the center. Yeah, my idea, of course, is that I want to take on b2, check and take the rook. So he plays queen c2, but notice that he's in a pattern. So knight c6, the threat is now to play knight d4 check, and he plays king d1. And yeah, here I actually missed something very nice. I played the move knight f6. We're going to continue with that move, but knight d4 possibly was very nice and playable because I'm threatening to take on f3. And if you play queen g2, the move I had missed here, because I was calculating all kinds of moves, but the move I missed was knight f2 check here. It's a beautiful move. The idea is that if knight takes f2, the queen is now no longer defending nicely, and black can play e2 check, and that is the killer. Because yeah, if you take, I will mate you, queen takes pawn check, and then queen c2 checkmate. It would have been a miniature, it would have been a nice game. But instead, I played knight f6, but I think the result is never really in doubt because the king is so weak. Notice that all I have to do is play the same way like Steiner played. Open up the center, make sure that I keep that center open. Of course, I don't want to exchange queens, bringing the rest of my pieces c5 because I want to open up lines towards that king. And like so, knight d6. Yeah, now it's obviously completely won. Okay, the games went on a few moves, and my opponent then resigned. Yeah, it's a completely losing position. I have a pass pawn, two rooks, and just very nice coordination. So once again, we saw a very interesting game, and then that learned from that and used the same idea in my game. So that is how we improve in chess. We look at lessons learned from classical games and we implement them in our own games. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that. Please comment and maybe share some ideas that you may be having, and share. Subscribe, please, if you have not yet subscribed. And yeah, but otherwise, I will see you next time. And all I will say for now is checkmate. Bye.